on, guys. Run Pure Sports members have been on fire recently as we've had a ton of six-figure screenshots flooding our premium Discord. And the winning wasn't limited to one sport, as our members have access to premium content across all sports for one low price. We kick things off with Hebrew Cheetah, who took home $19K in NBA. Also in NBA, C. Lion shipped $100K. In the PGA Streets, C. Jacobs 986 won $100K, while Club Camp Cole and Birdie Monster each took home over $200K. The biggest winner of all was an NBA hit, with the man shipping a monster $1 million in Draftkings Millie Maker contest. Our members weren't the only ones crushing the leaderboard. Our very own JSU won over $100K in MLB, while Big T had another monster performance, shipping for $146K in PGA. With NBA playoffs, MLB, and PGA going strong, now is a great time to subscribe to Run Pure Sports. Head on over to our website and check out all of our affordable subscription options, and use code RPSHeaters25 for 25% off your first payment on a monthly subscription. And don't sleep on our free content offerings as well. PGA Millie winner Record 62 has been producing regular PGA articles on our website to help you build winning lineups. And subscribe to our YouTube channel today to sign up for alerts to our daily free live streams. Our bet team has been on fire as well, with our guy Keg dominating the live NASCAR betting, pulling in over 22 units per race in 3 of the past 5 races. There's no better way to build your bankroll than betting with Keg and Coop on the live Kegcast. Check it out today for just $40 a month. Thanks again, guys. Make sure you head on over to Run Pure Sports and find out why our members are crushing in every sport by accessing our free and premium content.
Hey, let's talk some NASCAR this morning. We have the boys here. We got Keg, we got Coop. We're going to run it down from a DFS side. We got dirt race today, the Food City dirt race. We'll break it down from a DFS side with Coop and a betting side with Mr. Keg. And happy Easter to everybody today. And I think Passover, if K-Falik is still feeling good. And I heard Ramadan's still going on, so because Kyrie Irving. So there's a lot going on holiday-wise. Hopefully you'll just sit around the TV like Coop and Keg today and make a whole bunch of money betting today's race. Coop, happy Easter. Hello. How the hell is life?
Very good, man. I see that you got your nice Easter shirt on like I do, color-wise. Keg missed the memo, I guess. But, hey, it'll be all right.
It'll be okay. Keg, wonderful to see you, my friend. I think at the top of every show, we need to plug what's going on the live betting side, because it has been just about as profitable as it gets in the betting world, not just at RPS, at the betting world. How many trillion units are you up already in NASCAR, and how do they get your package?
Well, first of all, fat people don't wear pastel colors.
Why?
Because listen, the big people, here's a tip: stick to black. Just wear black. It's the most slimming shirt. Yeah. And you just wear black. I can't do that.
I think that guy that you were touting on Twitter that you said looked like you when you're on the basketball court, he got a pastel shirt on.
So the live betting show is doing good. We hit we hit the truck winner last night at 6-1. Last week on this video, Kush did not host it. I did, but we gave out the pre-race winner at 10-1. Coop gave out another 20-1 long shot. The show the last 5 weeks on Sundays is up 80 units. The last 5 weeks. So if you have the time to live bet and you watch sports for $10 a week, it's worth it. Considering what we've done in this sport for the last 4 years. So
if I didn't know you, I wouldn't believe it, because that's just silly. That's not even like a normal amount of money to make on a show. Seriously.
Another 6-1 truck winner last night. It's just crazy.
I was going to say, keep in mind that 80 is just Cup. Doesn't include trucks and Xfinity.
Right. Someday I'll be looking for a job again, and basically I'll just sign up for Keg's NASCAR package and watch NASCAR with him for 6 hours on Sunday. That'll probably be it. No, I mean, if you're up 80 units and I bump my unit to $1,000, then
here's what I know for a fact: I can pay the mortgage for the year watching that show.
Yeah, see what I'm saying? So I'm not worried about it. Like, hey, you guys, I can look for another job, and it'll be sitting there watching your NASCAR show. So how do they get your package one more time?
Yeah, just go to runpuresports.com where all the options are there. Obviously, we encourage people to sign up for the bet side, use promo code BETS25 off, get you 25% off the first week or month there. And the live betting package is basically an extra $10 a week. So, I mean, I think it's worth it.
Coop, give me a little rundown here. The Food City Dirt Race. What's unique about this race, if anything? And what are you looking for?
Well, it's run on dirt, and it's the second time they've had this race. Last year was the inaugural one, and it didn't turn out too well. One they ran it during the day, and it was a dust bowl and very difficult to see. It basically was described as a type of asphalt slick race, basically, and they took some feedback and gone back, and this year they have it on night. It's also the first race they've had on Easter and maybe ever. I don't know. It's been a long time at least. But there's that. The track has not shown any dust from when they raced yesterday, so that's a plus. And, the feedback has been very positive from the drivers. I'm sure Keg will agree, but the truck race last night was very entertaining and much, much better than last year. So I think tonight's race will be, very, very good.
Kegger, what is dirt? How does that affect how you handicap a race? I know what dirt is, but how does it help you handicap a race or whatever?
Yeah, like where I started out on the week was different from how Coop was going to approach the race. But somehow I think we took our own path probably to get to the same drivers. Listen, last year it was a total shit show. The truck race was unwatchable. The cup race was just bad racing. But this year, the next gen car looks great out there on the track. They're actually drifting like dirt cars are supposed to around dirt. And the truck race last night was great, really entertaining, and it felt like a real race. Like we saw a truck chase down the leader and move 5 places in 4 laps, which was something that you just couldn't see last year. So I was approaching this dirt ringers initially, right? The guys that are good on dirt. And then when I was talking to Coop earlier in the week, he was like, we've been doing so good with following the speed. I think we should just chase the performance of the cars. And I was like, let me think on it for a few days. It just so happens that the 4 drivers that we spoke about in the Discord all week as being really good dirt drivers happen to have 4 of the best cars in the race in performance. So I think that we ended up in a good place.
Good. That's what we like to hear. So let's start with the DFS side here, Coop. And we'll go down with the dominators, your potential dominators first. I know Reddick, Briscoe, Larson, some names. Talk to me how we attack the top shelf drivers today.
So, they had 4 heat races yesterday to set up the qualifying and how the drivers are going to start today. And, it was basically, your finished position, you got some points, and then every position that you gained, you got some points. And I tell you what, when NASCAR finished that calculations of where drivers are going to start, man, they had to have the biggest heart on ever, man, because they could not have asked for anything better, man. I mean, that damn thing's probably still hard as shit, man, because they've got the top 4 dirt drivers starting 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. They could have not asked for anything better. So, it's pretty hard to go away from those four. I don't think any drivers who are starting behind them will be able to contend with them to earn them dominator points. So those four are the four that I'm sticking with to earn the dominator points. Cole Custer somehow ends up, leading some laps at the beginning and then somehow holding on. More power to him. Congratulations, he beat me. But I don't think that's going to happen. So, my favorite is Reddick because he's starting on the outside. And, last night, what we saw on the restarts is the outside car is going to have an advantage and typically got out to the lead. So I like Reddick to lead early, followed by Briscoe, and then either Bell or Larson. Once there's a restart, that'll all change. It all depends upon where they line up again. But those four, I would be shocked, if somebody else leads laps other than those four. Because again, they have another advantage where, the pit stops aren't live this week. The pit stops are frozen. So once you go in, that's where you're going to come out. You can pit under a caution during, the race, but you cannot change tires, nor can you get gas. You can just do adjustments to the car. So, I think also there's probably a chance, we'll have to see how the strategy goes, where we see some drivers who's mid to back, stay out and try to gain that track position, because track position is so key here. It's hard to pass. You can gain a couple spots here and there, but you're not going to go from, let's say, 30th to 15th like you would on a mile and a half, and let's say, 15, 20 laps. So, track position is key. And it's going to be hard. Those drivers are going to have to make a mistake somewhere in order to fall out of the top five, in my opinion.
Keg, from just a betting standpoint, like, how does the pit stops being frozen affect how you handicap this, or does it not at all?
Well, yeah, it does. It does a little bit, because you can't make up any spot on pit road, right? So if you're not running well in the back of the pack, you can't make up any spots at all, which is big. So here's how I'm approaching it. I think that there are 4 drivers in the top 5 that could win the race. And then I think that there are 2 cars maybe behind them that have an outside shot if things break right for them. So I think obviously Tyler Reddick, Chris Bell, Kyle Larson, and Chase Briscoe are the 4 drivers in the top 5 that could win this race, right? And then if I was going to throw out a couple, I think Joey Logano is starting in the top 10, 9th. I think that if things break right for him and he somehow could get into the mix, he could be interesting. And then I think that I know William Byron is starting way back, but man, he's just been so good all year. It would not shock me if he's in the top 5 at the end of this race and making a little bit of noise. So those would be the 6 drivers that I will be picking my player pool in terms of who I'm going to bet to win the race. And it's really 4 that are in the top 5 mainly. So how I think I'm going to approach it is I'm going to shoot my shot and probably take 2 of them pre-race. And then if I have to get on somebody else live because one of those other 2 guys just looks like they have the car and they're out in front, I'll get on them live. But I think I'm going to take a couple pre-race out of those 4. Reddick, Chastain, Chris Bell, and Kyle Larson. And then that's probably where it ends for me in the outright marketplace.
So question then, and I think this has to do with a subscription. If you give 2 pre-race plays, it's almost necessary, right, to get in on your package, because if you got to have some leverage, you got to have some leverage.
Yeah, you're definitely going to want live leverage, definitely, for sure.
Okay, hit the like button. That would be great. Let's keep going here. You can subscribe too in the bottom right-hand corner if you look at that. you can subscribe, and that would be wonderful if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Run Pure Bets YouTube channel too. They got a big following, so make sure it's the little bottom right-hand corner. It's a square. It's got a triangle to the side on it, and if you hit that, that will be spectacular. It will be wonderful to have you on board here. So, Coop, let's move on here. We've got the place differential drivers. We got the mid-tier drivers. Break down those two tiers for us. It's a short one with the differential, but I know there's quite a few in the mid-tier.
We'll start with the place differential because that's where it all is for me when it comes to this race. So, I like William Byron and Bubba Wallace myself. But I think Keg hit the nail on the head with Byron. I think he has more top 10 upside than top 5. I think some things are going to have to happen in order for him to get to a top 5. But I definitely think he has a top 10 upside. He also has a crew chief in Rudy Fugel who has a bunch of dirt experience. So he has a great coach to go along the way. The car's been fast all year long. And, I think with all the other options up front in that high price range, I think we're going to be able to get William Byron at a lower to moderate ownership this week. Bubba, solid on the dirt. And, I think he has top 15 upside, possibly, outside top 10. He has run good at Bristol on the concrete, so that's a plus. But, it's Bubba, so you just got to approach cautiously. But there are a slew of drivers who are in this range who I am going to take a stand and fade. From Ryan Blaney, Harvick, Hamlin, Amarola, Chastain, and there's another one that I can't even think of, but there's 6 of them. And I think it's the perfect storm. These guys are in the back because they were slow in the qualifying heats. I think the perfect storm arrives is that we have the 4 fastest cars up front who happen to be the 4 best dirt drivers. And one of them is going to jump out front, and one of them is going to be smoking and dialing in, and they're going to be on the asses of these cars in the back, like within 20 laps. Basically when you start the race, you're about a half a lap from going a lap down. These place differential drivers that everybody's going to play because, their names and, they're going to get ownership. They just don't have the confidence in dirt, and they don't have the car. Blaney and Chastain are probably the 2 that scare me the most fading because, they've had fast cars this year. So, is it risky? Sure. But I think it's the right way to go. Last week I faded Hamlin, I faded Truex, and I faded Chastain, who were all starting in similar positions. And it worked out extremely well until the end of the race when Chastain got his car together, ended up in a top 10. So, I'm going to take that approach again. I'm going to have hope that they get lapped very quickly. Because one thing that I saw last night in the truck race, these truck races usually have a lot of cautions. They didn't. So it would not surprise me, if that first stage is all run on green in 75 laps. And if it is, these guys are going to get lapped. They're going to lap quickly, and it's going to suppress their upside. If you're looking at 5 times value, we'll take Kevin Harvick, I think was the one I didn't mention. He's priced at 8,100. He needs to get a 17th place finish to get 5 times value. I don't see, a way that Kevin Harvick gets into the top 20 unless there's a bunch of attrition. So I think it's, risky, but I think there's a lot of chance that all 6 of these drivers are lapped down by like lap 40, lap 50.
All right. You heard some of the drivers that Coop was just talking about here. And I know you brought up Byron earlier, Keg, but from a betting standpoint, you could even chime in DFS wise. These middle tier drivers, Busch, Dillon, Jones, Elliott. Talk to me about these guys.
And you tell him he's on mute.
Yeah, he's on mute.
I'm good for that once a show now, apparently. Good. Side note, are you Are you shoving Durant and Giannis into a lineup today, or are you going mid-tier?
Oh, you're talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably mid-tier. I'm looking at like Bam, Lowry, guys like that, Paul. And then you could save with dudes like Murphy, the small forward from the Pels. So, yeah.
All right. So from a betting perspective, aside from the outright marketplace this week, there is not a whole lot. I think, like, in terms of the mid-tier guys, I think that, like, I would transfer that over to betting, which would be, like, where you would be looking at individual driver-on-driver matchups. And, man, there are just so many things that can happen in a dirt race where I'm not sure how heavily involved that I want to get in the matchup market. So I'm going to be, in terms of betting, sticking to that crew, that core group of like those dominator equivalents in terms of who I'm going to be putting my money on today. But I do think that, you know, the manufacturer numbers is the other market that we can attack, and maybe the group market. But like top Chevy, top Toyota, top Ford, I think we can attack that a little bit. Aside from that, there's nothing in the mid-tier that you want to be betting on in terms of betting the race.
Coop, how do you feel about Larson and Bell for two dominators? That's from Jim Parrish. If you could just go over that again.
I don't have a problem with it. I do think, you know, it's going to be hard to not have some Reddick because he's starting on that outside. You know, there is no pick line here when they're doing the restarts. They're lining up just like they would start. So, you know, the odds are on the bottom, the evens are on the top. So I think, you know, my favorite to begin with is Reddick and Briscoe because they're starting second and fourth. And, you know, the way I see it rolling is that, you know, Reddick gets out to that lead and Briscoe follows him. You know, can Bell and Larson chase him down? Most definitely. But, you know, I think that if there's a caution, you know, let's say lap 30 and Reddick's in first and Bell's in Briscoe's in second, that sets up very well for Briscoe because he's going to be on the outside now.
So who did you think once they get fanned out and they start running, right? Who did you think had the best car from the four in the top five that you and I think could win the race?
From a long run perspective?
Yeah.
I mean, Kyle Larson. But, I mean, his numbers on the long run have been good on the last several races during practice, and it hasn't amounted to crap. Yeah. So, you know, of those four, Larson's the one that I am, you know, down on the most, so to say. You know, in his heat race, you know, he didn't do much at the beginning. And then, you know, wrap around lap 11, 12, 13, the car seemed to come in a little bit better. And he, you know, was right behind Chase Elliott battling for second. So,
here's
you know,
what
he might have that long run car. So, but, you know, I think, you know, like I said, from setting it up from stage one, I like Reddick and Briscoe. And, you know, the other piece is that once that car gets out front, after 5 laps, you're not passing them because, you know, we have yet to see a lead on these short tracks other than Richmond where there was a lot of tire wear where somebody chases down the leader.
I'll tell you what, man, when I was watching those cars run, there was one car to me that looked different from the rest. I sent you that message and I was like, Tyler Reddick is flying around that track. That car looks really, really good. Yeah.
So, I mean, he likes the high line and he does well in dirt, and this sets up well for him. You know, I would not be surprised if we see like a performance like what we saw at the Busch Clash from Tyler Reddick. You know, at the beginning of the race.
8.5 to 1. Yeah. It's going to be hard for me not to have money on him. He's probably going to be one of the two.
Right. But, you know, the middle tier drivers, the drivers that are starting like 8th through, let's say, 18th, are the drivers that, you know, I'm going to try to hit on and gamble with. And what I'm banking on is that they don't lose that lap and they stay on the lead lap, and, they can pick up a couple spots here and there and or finish, right around where they start, because, the majority of them don't have a huge salary. So, Kurt Busch is my favorite. 6,900 is just way too low for him on DK. He started in 13th. He was fast last week. And he looks like he has another solid car this week. I think he can get top 10. I don't think there's going to be a lot of ownership on him for other reasons, but he would be my favorite. Obviously, you got to have some Ricky Stenhouse. He's good on dirt. I don't know if the car is that great to be able to get that top 10, but I'm going to take my chances with him. And then, I'm going to sprinkle in some Kyle Busch because I think the price is too low for him at 9,000. I think he does have a little bit of upside outside top 5, more or less, let's say 7th to 8th place. But I think he's going to be low owned. And then Logano, I'll have a little bit of him too. But the drivers I'm going to take a chance on, and I think nobody's going to play on, Buescher, McDowell, Kozlowski, Eric Jones. Because, again, if they can stay on the lead lap, all right, and finish where they're at, they're going to score more points per their dollar than what a Harvick, Truex, Blaney, Amarola, and Hamlin are. So, and they're going to be a lot less owned too. So that's what I'm hanging on this week. Typically I wouldn't play a Keselowski on dirt. It's not his, forte, so to speak, but the car was not bad. The car the last couple of weeks been a lot better. And again, I think he can hang out there on that lead lap because, I think also if you're going to see an incident at the beginning, I think you're going to see it from these drivers, who are starting 25th on back, because they know that they've got to move and they got to move fast because, Tyler Reddick or whomever it's going to be is going to be on their ass in 20 laps.
Hey guys, nice little break in the action. So if you are interested in making some money on a show that is, again, you might not believe it, but it's fascinating that it's true. Plus 80 units. Keg, talk to me about the add-on because it seems like it's a no-brainer.
Yep, 80 units the last 5 weeks. So you can head on over to the Run Pure Sports betting package and you'll see my name, the live show, Keg Live package for an extra $10 a week. And then obviously on the bet side, JJ and Joey are killing baseball early already. We have Spread and Tyler with the NBA playoffs that are just kicking off. UFC and NASCAR with me until football starts. So it's a good time to run pure, Holden.
Let me just tell you something about Spread real quick. He has become a must-tail. I have hit I have hit 6 straight bets with him. And I don't know what his overall record is, but the plays that he's putting on the sheet right now, and I know Tyler is wonderful at NBA too, but and I upped my unit size this year just because we've been so good and things are going well. Let me just put it that way. And JJ's on a heater. Joey Work is just Joey Work. Spread, Tyler doing their thing. We got Keg on the NASCAR side, tons of MMA. So sign up for the bet side too. You can add the bet side. Very simply. So go to runpuresports.com or runpurebets.com and get in because it's not just NASCAR. We got baseball today. I'm actually waiting for Big T to put his core up in the NBA chat. Got a lot of my lineup built, but we're doing that right now. And how about Run Pure Sports and Bets today? All the shows we've done. NBA, Major League Baseball, NASCAR, and then a baseball betting show. So Easter Sunday, no time for us to rest. Always a time to make some more money, and that's what we're talking about here. Let's get into the next tier here. You were talking value town drivers and Keg. Maybe we could both listen to Coop here, and you can give some response or a retort to Coop's little core, but talk to me about these value town drivers, Mr. Coop.
Gilliland's going to be the chalky one down there, but I'll eat his chalk. I don't want to go overweight on him because, he's a very good dirt track driver, has very good success in the truck races. And my concern, though, is the car. Is the car as good as what he is? So, I do see some upside for him. I think possibly outside top 15. But, I'm not going to have a problem playing him because my lineups will be different because he's going to be paired with a lot of the Blaney, the Truex, the Hamlin, the Harvick, the Amarola, the ones that I'm fading. So, I'll have some of him. And then after that, it's really chancy. Like I said, McDowell, I don't mind having some. Busher, I don't mind having some. The one that I'm willing to take a couple chances on is Noah Graxson. You don't think of him as a dirt track driver, but I think his racing style fits well with dirt tracks. Meaning he's going to will that car and he's going to drive the living daylights out of it, and he's going to push it and push it and push it, and that's how he is. So that piece could work out well for him on the dirt. I'm not going to have a bunch. But his salary is nice, and I don't think he's going to be highly owned. But I could be wrong. I think he's going to need some help in order to finish around 20th or so. But you never know what's going to happen in these races. So I'll take some shots with Graxson.
Okay, Keg, any thoughts on the drivers that he just mentioned, whether it be Gilland or McDowell or Graxson?
because like none of this pertains to sports betting really. This is all Coop's lane right now.
All right, Coop, we'll keep going then. We're just gonna go. We'll get back to Keg for his plays, buddy. Run down these fades. Like, who are your top 4 or 5 fades today?
Well, I mean, my big fades would be the drivers starting 26 and on back. I've hit on them enough. But I think Justin Haley and Ty Dillon. They are cars that ran extremely well yesterday in the heat race. They're starting way up front, 6th and 7th. My concern with them is how are they going to do when they get around other cars? Because what they did yesterday in the heat race, they had no cars way around them. They pulled away, and nobody was able to catch them. So, I think people will play them. Their salary's cheap enough to where they can lose, and finish 10th and 11th and still, pay off well. But, it's a chance that I'm going to take that, they fall a little farther back than what, they need to. So I think, another plus for them is the pit stops. They're not going to have their crew do it. Their crews aren't traditionally as well as some of these other top tiers that they would be competing against. So that's going to help them hold some track position. But, it's still, something where I'm going to fade them. Daniel Suarez, I think, is a driver who's going to get some attraction because he's starting 21st, 22nd, somewhere in that ballpark. He did well here last year. And I think people will tell him solely because of that. But his car has been so slow on these short tracks. And, dirt isn't the greatest thing. And he had a really good car last year. So I think I'm going to take the chance to fade him also. So, and then, the drivers who are starting to back LaJoy and Yaley and those types, I just don't have any interest in.
Okay, very good. This will be the last chance to get questions in. If you'd like to do that, we'll be on for a few more minutes. Do want to get a broad overview for those of you that just weren't here at the beginning of the show. Broad overview from Keg one more time about some of the bets that he likes. We'll get into Coop's ultimate plays of the day as well. But again, you got a question, we'll hit it up. Give us a like too on the like button. We're sitting here at 21. I mean, come on. Easter, holiest day of the year for some people. Come on, get your butts in there and say thank you to our boys here. So Keg, once again, top bets, because I know you're going to, I don't know if it's a hedge or not during the game, but I know you listed off some plays that you liked.
Yeah, NASCAR does not get the respect it deserves. So that's unfortunate. So I'm going to attack a very small group of drivers this week: Chris Bell, Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Briscoe, and depending if I could find Joey Logano or Will Byron in favorable spots and matchups, But that's where I'm at in terms of top Chevy. I think it's very much the same lane. Kyle Larson's plus 170. Tyler Reddick is 4-1. Do you want to eat the chalk and play plus 170 on Kyle Larson? Or do you want to shoot your shot at Reddick, who's got a great car and looked phenomenal in practice at 4-1? Obviously, you lean taking the price there. Joey Logano, Chase Briscoe for top Ford. I think top Ford becomes a little bit more interesting, but I guess that you would lead Chase Briscoe because of where he is on the track. But, I wouldn't discount Joey, and maybe Blaney or Custer, but probably not, if I'm being honest. And then obviously top Toyota. Chris Bell and Kyle Busch have been the best Gibbs cars, no doubt, all year. Chris Bell is plus 140, Busch is 3-1. Just based on where they're starting, I would lean Chris Bell. Do you want to? Plus 140 is a little lower than I would like it to be, but I would still probably lean Chris Bell top Toyota there. Other than that, I really don't see much. Let me take a quick look at the groups, though, while we're talking about this.
Okay. Well, you look at that, Keg. I'm just going to go back to Coop's plays today. Give us 2 or 3 guys that you just love that we already heard about.
Hey, real quick, 2 other notes.
Okay.
One, pre-race inspections already happened. So nobody's going to be affected by that. But you might want to pay attention because any adjustments that are made to the cars will take a driver to the back. And with track position being so important, depending upon where they started, they could be one that you might want to end up fading and or going lower owned on. So pay attention to that. And then the other piece is as we get closer, we've got to watch Mother Nature because we might have some rain in the forecast this evening. So, that I think is, right now I think it's around 40-50% chance. We'll have to wait and see. Bristol's in the mountains. So, it could be a good thing or a bad thing. Good in that, it gets deflected by the mountains, bad that it gets into the mountains and just sits there. So we'll have to wait and see. But, I think, if we do see that rain, that's another good piece where them drivers who are starting in the back are not going to have enough time and opportunity to get up there to, pay off. So, but, like I said, Tyler Reddick's my man today. I think he's the one that's going to win. I like Kurt Busch as a pick that nobody's going to play along with, let's say, a Buescher and a McDowell. I think the upper tier drivers that I'm willing to take a shot on that I think are going to be mid to lower owned moderately would be Will Byron and Kyle Busch.
Will Byron, Kyle Busch. All right, Keg, did you find the info you're looking for?
Yeah, but the prices, I'm going to have to look at it a little deeper because the price structure is not normally what you would see in a group.
Okay. For those of you, Matty Ice is a big NASCAR guy. Matty Ice and Blazer just threw out their playbook for the National Hockey League. It's another great, successful sport that we have here at Run Pure Sports. NHL, MMA, we've got the NASCAR. We've got the NASCAR package, USFL, Major League Baseball, NBA playoffs, everything going on right now. That's why we came on today and did 4 shows for you, 3 different sports, 4 shows for you today. So big day for us. Coop, some final thoughts on the, you know what else I should say? USFL 36% off your first payment for a monthly plan over on the sports side. USFL 36. Coop, final thoughts.
I think it's going to be a great race. I'm really interested to see those 4 drivers up front and how it shakes out with those 4 because they are the 4 best on the dirt. They'll also be interested to see if any of them can chase down the leader. At the beginning of the week, my expectations for this race were tempered. Simply because of last year. But now, after what I've seen the last day and a half in practice and in the qualifying heats, very excited about it because I think we're going to see a great show.
All right, terrific. Final thoughts from you, Mr. Keg.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. This used to be my favorite race of the year, the Bristol Night Race, and I was bummed that they threw dirt on the track. But after last night, I'm looking forward to it. We'll be live tonight, obviously, 7 p.m. for the race for subscribers, and then we'll have some basketball going on. And happy Easter to everybody today.
Yeah, wonderful to see everybody. Thanks for stopping by. For Keg and for Coop, I'm Holden. Keep running pure. Simon, get us out of here, dude.